Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Advance. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a great show for you guys here today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel as I'm setting up as we're live here. Anyway, you guys know, I believe it was yesterday, we did a show where Stephen A. Smith went on Shannon Sharpe's nightcap show. I think at some Super Bowl weekend event or something like that, where they discussed John Morant. Right, we did a show on this, and they were kind of reacting to the story about John Morant not being traded, any team requesting a trade for him, showing any interest in him in the trade deadline. So essentially, that's what they were talking about, right? But later on, Shannon Sharpe did a sit-down interview with Front Office Sports, all right? And during this interview, I guess they began to ask him about his time at ESPN. And it's important to say that when Shannon Sharpe initially joined First Take, it was a boon to the show. I mean, it was electrifying. It was fireworks. They were bringing in insane ratings, dwarfing the ratings of his previous show with at Undisputed with him at FS1 Undisputed with him and Skip Bayless. I mean, it was incredible. Some days we're getting over 900,000 viewers. It was insane. His podcast was blowing up. You know, I think the first episode that Stephen A. Smith came on Shannon Sharpe's podcast got over 1 million views. It was just, I mean, he was on top of the world, man. And then it got to the point where we even heard that ESPN was looking to give Shannon Sharpe his own show. You saw him fill in for Stephen A. Smith on a couple of days because I think they were planning on giving him his own show on the network. But then all hell broke loose with the lawsuit that came out with him, the OnlyFans model suing him for $50 million. Obviously, we had the one before that where that audio came out. I was surprised they kept him when that happened. But then the lawsuit was just the final straw that broke the camel's back. And then he put out the statement saying that he, hopefully he'll resume after the statement, this thing is resolved. And then subsequently he was let go by the network, right? So anyway, he had a chance to sit down and talk to Front Office Sports, who initially interviewed him, but then I couldn't find the interview itself on Front Office Sports. So I had to hunt it down. And I actually came across an article from Awful Announcing that featured the conversation that he had, and it has the following headline: Shannon Sharpe seeks ESPN return. I would love to go back. And I'm like, whoa, really now? But before we even get into this report, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. Prize Picks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week I'm really looking forward to some of these upcoming games. This week I'm picking Stephen Curry for more than 29 points. I'm picking Kevin Durant for more than 27 points. I'm picking Giannis Antetokounmpo for more than 12 rebounds. And I'm picking Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love Prize Picks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Okay, let's continue on. Shannon Sharpe is ready to return to ESPN if the network came calling. It's been over 6 months since ESPN asked Shannon Sharpe after settling a $50 million lawsuit over alleged allegations of sexual assault. Sharpe maintained his innocence throughout the saga, but the entire episode was too much for ESPN to bear, having him on the network moving forward. Although it derailed Shannon Sharpe's national television career when he was arguably at his strongest, he has continued with his podcast empire at both Club Shay Shay and Nightcap with Chad Johnson, which both still hold strong audiences. In a recent interview with Front Office Sports, Shannon Sharpe expressed his desire to return to ESPN and First Take, citing the continued success of his YouTube channel. That's not my call. I would love to go back if they were to call. Burke Magnus, Jimmy Patero, Dave Roberts That's their call. But obviously, I'm more than willing. I'm more than capable. They say they see what we do here on Nightcap. They see the numbers we generate, Sharpe said. Club Shay Shay is in the top 10 this weekend on YouTube. Both of our shows are normally in the top 20. Very few people can say they have a top 20 show. We normally customarily have 2 shows in the top 20 on YouTube. So clearly I still have a fan base. I still have a big following. If a reunion is in order, I'm amenable to it. Sharpe still has a loyal and large following on YouTube where his success there is unquestioned. However, with the passage of time, it may be easy to forget just how ugly the entire controversy was surrounding the sexual assault allegations against him. Not only were the allegations that eventually led to a settlement very serious, but the way Sharpe handled it with his public statements against his accuser were not a good look for ESPN. Anyway, let me give you my reaction to this. It's one thing to be on YouTube. It's another thing to be on television. And I'm talking about how it has a psychological effect on the public, right? There are a plethora of people that are on YouTube, right? They get a lot of views. I'm not talking about myself, I'm just in general, right? I'm not amongst those people, but there are a lot of people that get a lot of views on their shows. But for whatever reason, when you're on TV, it kind of gives you a higher profile. People tend to take you more seriously. You become more quotable. Things you say on TV versus things that you say on your YouTube podcast, totally different. Things that are said on TV get quoted more. They make more, they have more clips on it on the internet. That's just how it is. So Shannon Sharpe being on TV makes it makes his brand more attractive to sponsors. Right. And the money that you can make on TV, especially if you have some good deals, can be a lot. And then it becomes a symbiotic relationship where your podcast and the show that you're doing on TV work together. If you remember when Shannon Sharpe was on First Take, he used to promote some of this product, I think the liquor and stuff like that, right? He used to plug it. Stephen A. Smith was promoting his podcast on ESPN at the bottom, at the ticker. He used to promote his show, which helped a lot of people go subscribe to his channel, right? That's how he would. So it was a perfect pairing. But now that he's off YouTube, he's still big. Off the TV, he's still big. He still gets a lot of views, but it's not the same impact culturally because people still watch TV. Even though it's a dying medium, people still watch it, right? And the fact is, Shannon Sharpe was more talked about in the sports culture zeitgeist when he was on television. So it makes a lot of sense for him to go or want to go back to ESPN because, frankly, it was a successful pairing. Had it not been for the nonsense surrounding him and the lawsuits and all of that, that was a mega, mega, mega pairing. And I think had he stayed on ESPN by now, he would have probably had his own show. And he certainly was charismatic enough of a hard worker. He knew his stuff that I think he would have done well hosting his own show on that network. But time will tell. Maybe these people, maybe they forget. Time moves on, time goes on, and they just say, hey, why not give it another shot? Or they may say, you know what? No, we've been here, done this before. We're not willing to do it. But one thing I will say, if Shannon Sharpe were to go back to ESPN, it would be insane ratings because he's good. The guy is good at what he does. Period, full stop. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.